Skyrim. I would often gaze under these stars after long days after work to get away from the stress of life. The expansiveness and sense of adventure this game portrayed really remind me of Morrowind to some extent. Now, I know some hardcore Elder Scrolls fans may be scratching their heads at that statement, but there was something missing for me in Oblivion that was present in Skyrim. Sure, the game's mechanics and skill abundance had been condensed with every release of a new title, but Skyrim sort of rekindled the sense of adventure that I hadn't experienced since my days in Vardenfell. The outside world was simply breathtaking, but this wasn't the only place that held that paralyzing visual grasp on the player. Far beneath the jagged mountains of the north lies a place that was just as magical as the night sky. In some ways, this ancient area was almost a dreamscape, and like nothing I had encountered in the land of Tamriel before. This was the Dwemer ruins of Blackreach. Blackreach instantly became one of my favorite areas in Skyrim. I never really expected something so grand to be waiting for me at the end of a long trek through mountainside ruins. It was like I had stepped into another world, or even onto another planet. The dense atmosphere and luminescent fog that crept through this vast cavern inspired the adventure in me to continue exploring everything it had to offer. From the cityscape and artificial sun, to the overseer's house on the perimeter, there was so much to do, and I felt like an ant crawling around due to the size of everything. One thing I found interesting about this area was the mushrooms that you saw scattered about. These towering figures almost appeared to look like jellyfish, and upon first encountering them, I thought they were actually creatures I could fight. Of course, the reason I thought this was due to my encounters with Netches from Morrowind during my childhood years. At the time, the Dragonborn expansion hadn't come out yet, so I was actually unaware that Netches would make a reappearance. I just had assumed that these large glowing figures were somehow related, and I feared walking under them because I thought I'd get killed. Because of how much I enjoyed this area, I instantly wanted to know the history behind it. The Dwemers had always intrigued me since I first explored their structures in Morrowind, so knowing that I had stumbled upon an area of great influence in their history was pretty awesome to find out. This underground cavern of Blackreach was nestled between 3 Dwemer cities, and was used for mining operations. The bluish hue of the cavern parallels to the crystal Ethereum which was found there a long time ago. But many people believe the rocks we see in this cavern are not actually Ethereum itself, as the material is believed to be very unstable unless refined through a special process. Ethereum comes into play in the Dawnguard expansion of the game, where you sort of gain a sense of history of what was being sought out in Blackreach. Knowing this area was a catalyst for developing equipment of magnificent power prior to the Dwemer's vanishing made exploring it that much more intriguing. Piecing together the lore in the Elder Scrolls games has always been a blast, so learning all I could about Blackreach only strengthened my curiosity. What is most surprising to me is the fact that this area hasn't been visited in quite a long time. You have the occasional enslaved bandits and corpses you find around the area, but other than the Falmer, there isn't much to be found in terms of the presence of modern day people. This place was once a bustling area, and the large structures that once housed many interesting things now are only used to store those who were enslaved in this Falmer kingdom. However, turn back the clock quite a bit, and it was the Falmer who were once enslaved here by the Dwemer. After the Dwemer mysteriously vanished from the world, the rebellious Falmer took over what was once theirs. In many ways, this also brought an aura of sadness to Blackreach as well, as the Falmer, who were formerly snow elves, were poisoned and mistreated as slaves. After many generations, they evolved into what people now refer to as the Falmer, and while these creatures do attack you, it is quite sad to think that they became this way due to the actions of others. While I would come back to Blackreach time and time again, even after finishing the game, there was one aspect that I always overlooked. And that was this large sun-like structure above the city. Sure, I would admire how cool it looked, but I would then divert my attention elsewhere. It wouldn't be until years later when I realized this structure actually triggered a fight with a dragon if you shouted at it powerfully enough. It's funny the things you miss even when you feel like you covered a place from top to bottom. Overall, this large cavern held a lot of secrets and history within its monstrous walls. To some degree, the mysteries of the world were even held here within the Oculory. The Elder Scroll that reside here held immense knowledge, and although it was geared towards dragons, it held other information as well. Knowing how long it had been since this machine had been in use and how long this entire area sat dormant was sort of sad to me. But on the same front, the sense of adventure was simply amazing. Comparing this place to caves I had been in real life really doesn't do it justice. Even though I visited some pretty large caves, the sheer size and atmosphere of Blackreach is something that is truly unique. And this is really what I love most about Blackreach. You're traveling through some ruins and then you're confronted with a space so vast that you don't know what to do next. You sit there in awe as you take it all in, and you wonder about what dangers lurk in the dark. Because of all this, Blackreach will be a place I will always remember, and it will forever be one of my pixel portals. But now that I've dumped that on all of you, I'd love to hear about your own Skyrim experiences. What was your favorite place in this game? Did Blackreach mesmerize you as much as it did me? And last, what was your best place, Fus Ro Da? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to this deep underground adventure into the beyond. If you'd like to join me on my YouTube voyage and continue to explore the world of Tamriel, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers. You've made it to the end of the video, but wait, your quest isn't over yet. You can find my Pixel Portal playlist to the left. Even if you haven't played the specific game, I believe the concepts I cover will still resonate with you, your life, and the places they parallel to. On the right, you'll find another one of my videos you may enjoy. There's also a slew of other videos on my channel too, so regardless, I hope you enjoy.